This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 210, Eliminate Debt with the Snowball by Babauta of Zen Habits.net. And I am your host here on the show, Dan. This is where we read to you some of the very best personal finance blogs on the planet. We take those blogs and we put them into audio form. And today's post is about the Debt Snowball method that we've definitely heard about before on the show, but Leo is going to add some extra tips and commentary, so there's some extra content that's worth it, even if you already know what the Debt Snowball is. And before we get into that, if you'd like to help us out to keep these podcasts going, we have a little page set up over at oldpodcast.com/support with a list of ways that you can help us out, and we very much appreciate it if you would give that a look. But for now, let's hear this post as we optimize your life. Eliminate Debt with the Snowball by Babauta of ZenHabits.net. Sometimes when we're in debt, it feels like we're drowning, trying to stay afloat, and yet we don't know how to get out of the turbulent waters we find ourselves in. If you feel yourself being pulled under by the current of debt, there's hope. By using a debt snowball, you can pull yourself out. Now, this article might seem too simple for those who regularly read about personal finances, but sometimes it's good to review the basics. And for those who haven't read much about debt elimination, this can be a lifesaver. The basic idea of the debt snowball is that you apply an extra amount of money every month to your smallest debt until it's paid off, and then take the amount you were paying for that debt and apply it to the next biggest debt, and so on until you've paid off all your debts. It sounds simple, but it's very powerful, and it's something that I'm using a modified version of now to get myself out of debt. I'm about midway through. I've paid off a few smaller debts. I'm nearly done paying off my credit card, should be done this summer, and then hope to pay off my car by the end of this year and some medical debts by next year. Dave Ramsey is the biggest proponent of this method. So here are the basic steps. 1. List all debts from smallest to largest. 2. Commit to pay the minimum payment on each debt. 3. Find an extra amount on top of the minimum that can be applied toward the smallest debt. This amount is your snowball amount. 4. Pay the minimum payment plus the extra amount towards that smallest debt until it is paid off. 5. Then add the old minimum payment from the first debt to the extra amount and apply the new sum to the second smallest debt. Your snowball amount has just gotten bigger and will get bigger after each debt is paid off. 6. Repeat until all debts are paid in full. Alternate version. Some people advocate ordering the original list not from smallest balance to highest, but from highest interest rate to lowest. This way you're paying off the debts that are hurting you the most before the ones with the low interest rates. Now, this makes some financial sense, and it is probably best for those who are already good at paying off debt. But I have 2 points to make. 1. The interest saved by this method isn't really that much. Many times we're talking about the difference of $50 a year or so. And 2, for many people, including me, there is a big psychological boost in paying off that first small debt, and you can ride the momentum of this boost to keep you going. This is the same reason I suggest starting any goal with baby steps. It might seem too easy, but there's a lot of power in the sense of accomplishment that comes from achieving any goal, large or small. Some suggestions for following the debt snowball method. Find as big a snowball amount as you can afford. Notice I said afford. Don't put a larger amount than you can afford or you'll end up stopping the snowball method. But try to find as much extra money as possible. Cut your spending in other areas. Bring lunch to work. Stop going to the movies or expensive restaurants. Cut out cable TV. Stop drinking those fancy coffees. See How I Save for more ideas. Resist temptation to spend your snowball. Often there's a strong urge to spend the extra money you have once you've paid off one debt, but think of it this way. You've been living without that extra money just fine so far. It may have taken some penny pinching, but you're surviving. Keep going without it and pay off your debt as soon as you can. Maybe once you've finished off your debt elimination plan, you can take a small amount of that and add it to your spending amount. Keep the end in mind. When things are tough, just visualize what it will be like to be out of debt. For many of us, debt is a huge stress on our lives. Getting out of debt will be like lifting a burden off your chest. It'll feel wonderful. You can do this. Think about what a huge amount you pay towards debt each month and how nice it will be to have that extra money once you're done. You can save for a vacation or a new home or retirement. It will be a godsend. You just listened to the post titled Eliminate Debt with the Snowball by Babauta of ZenHabits.net. And now before we head off for the weekend, we really could use your support to help keep these podcasts in the Optimal family alive and well. We've got a page set up over at oldpodcast.com/support that does list a bunch of simple things that you all can do to help us out. And when you have a moment, please do come by and check that out. We'd really appreciate it. And that's another week down. Hope everybody has a great weekend. I will be back with more posts for you next week. So I'll see you Monday, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.